Guys. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. All right. Virgos, about once a quarter, I like to do a storytelling where we just look at everything kind of focused on Virgo. And the question here is who is most compatible with Virgo? And then we'll also ask a couple of other more direct questions. But first, who is most compatible with Virgo? And this is specifically for love. It would be somebody that Virgo can work with, somebody that Virgo has similar ideas to, somebody Virgo could have a happily ever after with. This could be someone that wants to take cruises together, have fun together, also work toward, like building a future, and particularly somebody who likes some time at home. They might think it's really important also to have like a nice little nest. And I'm picturing, since these are birds, I'm picturing that Virgo might be most compatible with somebody who wants to live in more than one place, like a summer house and a winter house. So it could be specific that Virgo would love somebody who has, like, maybe they come from a different culture, maybe they come from a different region, and it's like, oh, it's so nice. My world got bigger because I met you, because you come from a different area and your family's there. And so we can go and we could always, live in that region for a while, but then we could live back where my family is. I feel like because of the nest, because of the three of coins, I think that this is a Virgo who would be most compatible with somebody who actually has strong ties and bonds to like their families as well, kind of a family oriented, community oriented person, but also a traveler, if that makes sense. We have a Six of Swords, and we also have the Four of Coins. It's Virgo also is most compatible with someone who can let go of things of the past so that the future can be really good, but hold on to the things that are important. Also, I think Virgo wants somebody that is like they don't talk out of turn. Like I think Virgo might want to keep their sacred aspects of a relationship between the two of them. And it's like, I don't want you airing our business, good, bad, or otherwise, to other people. It seems like Virgo is like, hey, what goes on between me and you, that's for us to cherish or for us to work through. Virgo does maybe like a bit of the strong, quiet type. And also, it's really important to Virgo that this person does not live in the past. I think in this story, it says Virgo would be very like unwilling maybe to match with a partner if they, cry over an ex still, or if they, hold and harbor like grudges. I think Virgo's like, you've got to be able to let go of stuff, but then on the other hand, hold on to what's important. I mean, maybe that sounds like a tall order or contradictory. I don't think so. I think that that kind of person, I mean, that sounds like the nuts and bolts of, like the foundation that is, I think, pretty understandable. And we have a Ten of Wands in the reverse. Virgo is also saying I would be most compatible deep down, or the universe rather is saying Virgo might be most compatible with somebody who has endured things in life. Virgo wants to be that balm for somebody. It's like whatever you've been through, if you're still holding on to life experiences that have shaped you, I want to be that person who, like I'm not asking you to be perfect. You don't have to be, have no chinks in your armor or anything like that. If anything, I think Virgo wants to be the one who knows somebody's like deeper like wounds and the things that they've been through that made them who they are, because it seems like Virgo wants to be able to like help their partner feel grounded and stable. This is usually when somebody hasn't quite laid down some old, wounds, scars. Now, here's the thing. We're asking who's Virgo most compatible with. Remember, Virgo is a sign of service. So perhaps it's like Virgo says, but I want to be able to, be a grounding energy in a partner's life. I feel like that's a gift I could offer to somebody. It's not like Virgo's going, okay, who's broken? Because I got to find me a broken person. It's not that. It's just Virgo is like, would be feeling like they could really help and contribute to a relationship with a partner, perhaps, that does have their life story, because it sounds like Virgo would be very understanding and empathetic to someone's life story. Okay, before we actually, let's just go ahead and ask right now, is this kind of a person, this compatibility situation, is this on the horizon for Virgo? Queen of Cups, why yes, and very soon if it hasn't already begun, because we have somebody who's about to give birth. And I would say, if, let's put it this way, the universe says if Virgo is in a place of peace and calm right now, then they're in a great place to meet that person they'd be most compatible with. And that makes sense because it looks like Virgo wants somebody who is whole, but they don't have to be perfect. Somebody who is like ready to be in a partnership themselves. And it says this person is probably right on the horizon of Virgo specifically calling this person in. They could meet by the seaside or by some place where there is water. Nine of Cups, Virgo's setting up, whether or not they know it, they're setting up little prayers. And Virgo could do this, they're asking their genie to grant them their wish. Virgo might be doing this in very small subconscious ways, like thinking about love in a more positive perspective right now. Virgo might be noticing people and saying like, wow, that person had such a nice smile, or wow, that person was so talented. And Virgo might be in a much more positive mindset at the moment when they are conversing with other people. They may be appreciating like, oh, that's so cool that you're so family oriented. I mean, they could be having dialogues like this, identifying things that they like in other people that are the traits that they're actually looking for in a partner, but they could be saying those things out loud, and identifying those things, even if they're having a casual conversation with, the server at the restaurant or something. And they strike up a little dialogue. Virgo kind of gets to know something about that person and is pointing out the same things that Virgo would find compatible in a partner. I think Virgo is starting to like vocalize that in non-romantic exchanges. And I think that is them sending out those wishes to the universe saying, that's what I'd like. Universe, that's what I'd like. That's what I'd like. So very cool. Okay, next I want to ask, what is making Virgo attractive right now? What are Virgo's attractive traits that are going to welcome this partner in? We have the Fool, we have the Four of Pentacles. Virgo is free of exes in this story. Virgo has rebuilt their life. They're not hung up on a karmic. They identified a karmic for what it is. And in this story, Virgo had a karmic. Virgo might have been in love with a divine masculine who was still married. And they might have said all kinds of things about how they're stuck because of money. Virgo's like, but I'm not stuck because of your situation with the person you chose to marry and the person you still owe money or have money issues with. I'm not stuck there. I let that go. I climbed up out of the grave, and here I am ready for my new day. So first and foremost, what makes Virgo so attractive is they are not, forgive me for saying it this way, they're not like brooding over an ex or feeling downturned or downtrodden or going to bring up, yeah, this person did me wrong. This ex hurt me because they were stuck with their karmic. This Virgo is like, other people's stuff is their stuff. The only thing that's my stuff is my life ahead of me. I feel like Virgo could dress in really pretty colors too, maybe brighter colors, kind of just something that pops, something that's a little bit more lovely. And Virgo could be really good at showing their heart to people. Virgo might be like just basically kind. We've got a Page of Swords for Virgo and the Hierophant as well. A Virgo could be extremely intelligent and always asking questions, getting to know who other people are, asking people about things, particularly like, we could say religious topics of like authorities, politics, science, fringe science, things about the cosmos, things about the, terrestrial elements. It could be almost anything. But Virgo seems to be very tapped into this idea right now that they're taking a huge interest in being alive. I feel like Virgo practically like interviews every person that they meet because they care about who people are, but it's because their crown chakra is open and they're like, God, this world is full of so many things that I haven't learned yet. Let me be a sponge and absorb it all. And that is super attractive because think of how amazing that would make other people feel. Like, wow, this Virgo cares about who I am. They're making me feel really seen, really special. No wonder that would be so attractive. And Virgo's got this positive attitude, and Virgo's not, clinging to their past. Okay, what is Virgo's biggest strength right now? Six of Swords. Virgo's ability to not only truly like practice what they preach and say, no, I've moved on from stuff. I don't live in past, even childhood stuff. If I've had choppy waters, if I've had problems of my past, honestly, That's why I love looking toward my future so much. I don't want to deal with the past anymore. I just want to make my future where I put all my energy. Okay, that is a huge strength. And I think probably, we're not always capable of doing that, but that's pretty awesome. I do want to ask this. What does an ex think of Virgo? Maybe it doesn't matter, especially since Virgo's all about moving on, but it was one of the questions I decided to ask for this particular story today. We have a 5 of Cups. We have the Magician. We have the Ten of Swords. We do have an ex who would like to still plot to figure out how to get Virgo back, even though it does look like even they believe it's impossible. They may tell themselves, but Virgo's still missing me. If Virgo ever said that they liked the smell of their ex, their shampoo, their perfume, cologne, shaving cream, they may think, I know Virgo remembers my smell. And I know like Virgo loves like really loyally. So Virgo misses me. They've got to miss me, right? They have to miss me. But then there's this element of, but Virgo did walk away. Virgo did have the power to walk away. They still think maybe one day, somehow, magically, they'll be able to see Virgo again, get Virgo back. But then the reality is they know that it's done. And it's because it was done on Virgo's side. It doesn't even mean that they couldn't be right. Virgo might still say, oh, sure, that's somebody that, I wish things had worked out with. But if it didn't, it didn't. Virgo has moved on. And it's interesting how the ex knows it, but they also still have a fantasy. I see this ex sitting here, in this dark space, in a laboratory or something. And it's almost like, I don't know if they spend a lot of their quiet free time still ruminating over Virgo, telling themselves a fantasy. And then it's like, that's just my happy fantasy that I say. I think they're going to be stuck on Virgo for a very, very long time. And that's just how that is. By the way, we did see Big Ben there in the London streets. So I don't know if Virgo, is British. I don't know if it just represents the timing on everything, but that seems to be kind of possibly a location where they either think of Virgo there, or they think Virgo has moved to a different place, or they just see it as this storyline did time out. I don't get to be with Virgo anymore. Virgo gave me enough of their time, and Virgo's moved on. But they still cling to this fantasy land sometimes about how they could still be with Virgo. All right, and then I do want to ask, how do others see Virgo as a whole? And this is non-romantic now. We have the Chariot. Virgo's very broad-minded, very well-read. There's a lot of different topics that Virgo knows a lot about. Virgo follows their gut instinct, and other people know this. And there is something very supernatural about this Virgo. We've got kind of a tip of the hat to like a different little miniaturized version of Stonehenge. Then we've got the solar system. And other people that know Virgo, there's something different about Virgo. It's hard to put their finger on what it is, but maybe Virgo kind of senses how people feel before people recognize it themselves. Maybe people feel like Virgo's very intuitive, very loving. We have the star sideways, and again, we have this gift from the cosmos. I think to many people, Virgo is a real gift. Virgo helps people. Virgo might have a habit of saying things that were on somebody's mind, particularly things that they were sad about, unhappy about. And Virgo might bring those things to the surface in dialogue, not to create hurt for somebody, but Virgo might have a knack for almost reading people's minds and saying something parallel to what a person was going through. And it's like, oh my God, how did somebody like understand me so well? I didn't say a word. How did they hit that spot? I'm thinking Virgo has maybe had people say to them, it's so weird. I just had this one experience. You just said that. And then it just makes me, bring up like, this just happened to me. The story you just told, Virgo, about, whatever happened to you at the grocery store. I just went through something like that. I almost feel like Virgo is this amazing, like through their sensitivity, through their emotional awareness, even if they don't know they do this, Virgo has this knack for bringing up a conversation with people about something a person needed to get off their chest. And in that way, Virgo is like an absolute, maybe they are a starseed. Maybe other people see this. Virgo is like, I don't know if they can read my mind or what. I don't want to say it out loud, but they're like a gift. And they're also somebody that there's something special about them. I don't know how to put my finger on it. We got the Two of Pentacles. We got the Queen of Pentacles. This is beautiful. People see this Virgo as earthy, grounded, loving, balanced, and anyone who's lucky enough to know this Virgo, most of them, and granted, not all people will like Virgo, right? But the ones that do are kind of the ones that we're talking about right now, the ones who pay enough attention to understand what is it that I'm drawn to Virgo for. What do I see in Virgo? Why do I want to be friends? Why do I want to talk to them? Why is it nice to see Virgo? People that immediately don't like you, that's because you trigger something in them. Maybe that's another question we should ask. In fact, I might just open that up because I didn't have that on the list, but maybe that's a good one to add in. But that's a them issue, right? That's because some, and that could be different for every person. Any person who gets riled and instantly pissed off or rubbed the wrong way, it could be, we could have to know what their insecurities were. So I don't think that's really the greatest question to ask because it's too variable. But the people that like Virgo, what kinds of things do they see in Virgo? It is like Virgo has this way of hitting the nose on the head of something I didn't even know I needed to talk about. And then they either like help me see something in a different way, or as I walk away from Virgo, I feel better about myself. I feel like there's something about this Virgo who makes me feel like either like I got a place on this earth. Virgo makes me feel happy and seen, like they're happy I'm here. There could also be something where Virgo like is like this magical cosmic glue that helps pull people's like atoms back together and makes them say, you know what, this is a nice life and this is a good world and I do want to stay here and I do have things to do. And there's, let me ignore some of the really dramatic things that are so negative. Virgo just reminded me of really good stuff and kind of encouraged me to put energy into the really good stuff. Look, I don't know if Virgo's like a motivational speaker. They could be a teacher. They could be, just an empath. There's a lot of, masculines or feminines, doesn't matter. But this Virgo seems to connect people to the earth again. Maybe they work somehow in earth related, like biology or, something where maybe they work at a plant store, or maybe they're a cook, a chef, and they like get people excited and interested in, the food that they're eating and how it's grown, maybe Virgo's a teacher or something, but it just feels like Virgo connects people again to earth and makes people like want to love their lives again. If they were feeling disconnected somehow, Virgo makes people feel better about life. Okay, we will ask that one last question. Overall, what is it that challenges people about Virgo? What is the thing that people find challenging? Two of Coins. And it's funny because, like I said, I knew it was going to be too variable to answer that. One of the things that draws people to Virgo is the Two of Coins. One of the things that challenges people is the Two of Coins. It all depends on who we're talking about. Some people are going to have a love-hate relationship with Virgo, and Virgo's going to notice that. Some men in particular, possibly, or masculine energies, so even women in masculine energies, are going to want to clash with Virgo and not even know why. There's going to be things about Virgo that make other people feel insecure without them understanding what it is, even though they'll both like Virgo, and then they'll also want to be like, oh, I want to be dominant over Virgo and I don't know how to get dominant over them. Either I want what they can do and it's making me jealous, or there's something about like, I don't like anybody that makes me feel like they've got some inner peace that makes me feel like I should have that too. It feels like it all depends on, there's love-hate relationships out there though between Virgo and other people. All right, interesting storylines. All right, you guys, thanks for being here. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. Lots of love. Bye.